Welcome to Positive Atheism English channel. Today, I am going to read out you an article on an atheist manifesto written by an atheist Joseph Lewis. Many ask, what difference does it make whether man believes in God or not? It makes a big difference. It makes all the differences in the world. It is the difference between the being right and being wrong. It is the difference between truth and surmises, facts or delusion. It is the difference between the earth being flat and the earth being round. It is the difference between the earth being the center of the universe or a tiny speck in this vast and uncharted sea of multitudinous suns and galaxies. It is the difference in the proper concept of life or conclusions based upon illusion. It is the difference between verified knowledge and the faith of religion. It is a question of progress or the dark ages. The history of man proves that religion perverts man's concept of life and the universe and has made him a clinging cover before the blind forces of nature. If you believe that there is a God, that man was created, that he was forbidden to eat of the fruit of the tree of knowledge, that he disobeyed, that he is a fallen of angel, that he is paying the penalty for his sins, then you devote your time praying to appease an angry and jealous God. If on the other hand, you believe that the universe is a great mystery, that man is the product of evolution, that he is born without knowledge, that intelligence comes from experience, then you devote your time and energies to improving his condition with the hope of securing a little happiness here for yourself and your fellow man. That is the difference. If man was created, then someone made a grievous mistake. It is inconceivable that any form of intelligence would waste so much time and effort to make such an inferior piece of life, with all the ills that flesh is here to, and with all the misery and suffering that is so essential a part of living. If man is a fallen angel by the commission of a sin, then disease and sorrow are part of God's inscrutable plan as a penalty imposed upon him for his disobedience, and man's entire life is devoted to the exploitation of that sin so as to soften the indictment before the throne of God. Man's atonement consists in making himself as miserable as possible by praying, fasting, masochism, flagellations, and other forms of torture. This sadistic delusion causes him to insist that others, under pain of punishment, be as miserable as himself, for fear that if others fail to do as he does, it will provoke the wrath of his tyrant, that God, to a more severe chastisement. The inevitable result is that man devotes his life not to the essentials of having and the making of a happy home, but to the building of temples and churches where he can lift his voice to God in a frenzy of fanaticism, and eventually he becomes a victim of hysteria. His time and energy are wasted to cleanse his soul, which he does not possess, and to save himself from a future punishment in hell, which exists only in his imagination. Religious hallucinations take on many forms. Some do not wash themselves. Some wash only their fingers. Some think that the filthier they are, the holier they are. Some cut off their hair, while others let it grow long. Some refuse to stand up, while others refuse to sit down. Some amputate their genitals, and some their breasts. Some pull out their teeth, and others wither their limbs. Some fast, and others judge themselves. Some cover their heads in sand, and others with sackcloth and ashes. Some talk continuously, and others remain silent. Some are celibates, and others are profligates. Some stand on their heads, some brand themselves, while others pierce their nose, ears, and eyes. Nuns cut off their hair to make themselves as unsightly as possible, to make themselves repulsive to the opposite sex. There are monks who have vowed never to look upon the face of a woman, and Franciscans still wear ropes around their bodies as a symbol of flagellation. There is hardly a form of insanity or delusion that has not been induced by some sort of religious belief. To laugh on the Sabbath at one time was considered the sin of sins. How rightfully Robert G. Ingersoll said that Christianity has made more lunatics than it ever provided asylums for. On the other hand, we do not believe that man is a depraved human being. We do not believe that there is a tyrant God or that there is a hell, that man will suffer the pains and penalties of eternal torment. We do not believe that you should make yourself as miserable as possible here in the hope of securing some happiness hereafter. We do not believe that disease is a punishment for sin. We believe that disease is a natural consequence of the process of life and that the ills of the flesh inevitably follow where one form of life lives upon another and where at the banquet of life each in turn is a guest and a dish. It is only by understanding the nature of disease that man has been able, even in a small degree, to protect himself from the ravages of the destruction. And from here, I shall continue in the next episode again. Thank you.
For more videos, please subscribe to our Positive Atheism English channel presented by Samaram channels, which has crossed more than 20 crore views. Please like, subscribe and share our videos, and for notification of our new videos, please click the bell icon.